son, I got you. Come on.
So, one thing the Thomas family will never do is run. They'll stand and they'll fight, because they've embodied the way of the street, and they've accepted if they were to go out, it's either death or jail, which is what both Marvin and Rock did. Lou may be an exception, because he wants to leave the game, and he made it clear in this conversation with Marvin in Season 1. He doesn't want to end up dead or in jail, but he still showed why he was one of the best shooters when his back was against the wall at Bulletproof Records. But Marvin's heroics in episode 10 was one which was full of mixture of courage, anger, and kindness. Because he was ready to go down not just to protect his own family and his business, but protect those who stayed loyal to the cause. And the emotion he showed in this scene after his heartful conversation with Jukebox before he went back to the project spoke volumes. It was definitely a mixture of gratitude that his daughter was finally back home and he was on the right path. But he knew in this game, the minute you leave your home, you may never come back, especially in the midst of a war with the Italians. And a true soldier fights not because of what's in front of him, but what he loves behind.
But we gotta take care of each other, Juke. We all we got.
Now, I do think it's worth starting with arguably the biggest influence in Marvin's change of character, which has given him these different layers of emotion and self-control when it comes to his aggression, which has helped him bring Jukebox home, and that's Renee Timmons. In Season 1, we saw a series of events of Marvin not only putting himself at risk, but also Kanan Stark. He made questionable decisions and mistakes, and it stems from the pain and hurt he feels from his history. It's not easy being the eldest Thomas sibling, but having to take orders from your baby sister, who he helped raise when their parents were on their own shit, and their own shit probably meaning drugs. Although there is definitely more story based on this conversation with Aunt Deb, but Marvin also fell victim to the drugs himself, which landed him with a bid in Elmira, which by the way, is still something I think Rock set up. But one thing he's always shown is his loyalty, which is something the writers have proved through his words and actions.
And when they come after my baby brother like they did, motherfuckers gonna hear me and nobody gonna get me to quiet the fuck down.
But it was his aggressive side and mentality which was different in the 90s, which wasn't accepting in same-sex relations, which let him down in his relationship with Jukebox. Although we do have to add, Jukebox did spit in Marvin's face, but what followed left his relationship with Jukebox on thin ice. And we all had Jukebox at the beginning of Season 2. She had no intention to forgive Marvin, so it was always going to be a tough ask. But Renee Timmons was a character who not only helped Marvin save his relationship with Jukebox, indirectly, she saved Marvin's life by making him control his anger.
Let it all go. Inhale. Let it all go.
I hear you.
Renee's death was an unfortunate event of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and gave us a stark reminder that in this street game, innocent parties will always be collateral damage, and Marvin should have taken a lot more care, because he knew they were in the midst of a war with the Italians. But as I mentioned before, Renee's impact resulted in Marvin saving his very own life, and maybe there was some kindness thrown his way for the way he put others ahead of him. While Salbacelli's men caught the Paisley Park projects cold with their attack, they killed a lot of Rock soldiers, but even in the midst of a gunfight, Marvin still managed to get his soldiers out to safety, but one which resulted in him taking a bullet to the stomach. And I'm sure as many watched this for the first time, stomachs churned, because I don't think any of us are ready for Marvin to go. But with his back against the wall and being unable to find a way out, he did something similar to Rock. He was about to stand his ground and fight. But it was also no coincidence when Marvin knocked on the door of an apartment which had the numbers 707. Now for those who don't know, 707 is an angel number which has many meanings, but also refers to reassurances that you've done so much not only for yourself, but also for others, and have done so with humility. And because you've been selfless in the past, things may start to go in your favor, and so it did.
Come on, son, I got you. Come on.
Demo appeared as Marvin's guardian angel when it seemed like he was about to be taken out by the Italians, and it goes back around to how Renee was able to help Marvin tame his anger, to then applying it to the situation with Demo outside the elevator, back around again, where this time, he opened the door for Marvin. Now, even though Marvin did good where it did save his life, that's not how it works in power, because more often than not, good guys finish last. And an example I gave in my breakdown was how Donovan died saving Dre's life out of all people, but for the time being, it does seem like Marvin will able to do some good with Jukebox.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do good now. For you.
Now, recently, Sascha Penn, the showrunner of Raising Kanan, had this to say on Jukebox's happiness. I will say that in season 3, we definitely are hoping to explore some happiness for Jukebox, because it feels like she's taken a lot of losses, but it's all in the game, as we say, it's tough. And there is more to what he said with Jukebox, which is something when I'm going to go through Jukebox's story arc, but I will leave the link down below to the interview. But the reason why I thought it was worthwhile mentioning this while we dissect Marvin is because Marvin can contribute towards Jukebox's happiness in season 3. For most of Juke's life, she's not either had Marvin or Kenya, and she was more so raised by Rock, who we all know is a manipulative liar, and she does as well. And so she's had a big hole in her life, and Nicole's death didn't make things easier, but Marvin has tried to make more of an effort, and she definitely recognizes that.
You wanna hit Lamont's after?
Wow.
So this is one of many elements I'm looking forward to seeing in season 3, but also makes me fearful because sooner or later something will trigger Jukebox, but I'm hoping she's able to reconnect with Marvin and they do share some love and make some memories in their home, because Marvin did make this a home for Jukebox, whereas on the other side we all know the situation with Kanan and Rock. Now, Sascha Penn also had this to say on Marvin. I think one of the most exciting parts of this season has been seeing the evolution of Marvin. I think he ended season 1 in a very specific place. His story over season 2 is sort of a redemption. London Brown is incredible and has given Marvin a humanity and a depth and complexity that as a writer you can only dream of. So having said that, after all the plaudits Patina Miller has received based on her performance, I definitely think London Brown's performance for Marvin deserves a mention. But also Sam the crackhead, who played a vital role in Marvin showing this humanity, but a mistake I hope he doesn't make again, because Sam should have been dealt with at the first time of asking. And so I'm hoping, although Marvin's trying to do good, and in season 3, no doubt he'll continue, but at the end of the day, the game is the game, and you can't trust anyone, and there can never be any loose ends. So as much as Marvin's changing and showing these different layers, he is hoping he doesn't repeat the same mistake. But that's a breakdown of how influential Renee was to bringing out these additional layers in Marvin's character, but also how her role goes even deeper with how she indirectly saved not only his life, but also his relationship with Jukebox. So drop all your thoughts down below on Marvin's heroics and London Brown's performance as Marvin. Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.